As you can see, this server doesn't just add content, it reinvents vanilla. It goes way beyond seasonal discovery by a country mile. In the last few weeks, it looked like the Classic Plus scene was doomed. Blizzard's lawsuit hammer seemed like it was going to crush everything, but instead, the private server community has struck back with a vengeance. There are so many content updates right now for all the servers that I can barely keep track, and very soon, a brand new, unique Classic Plus server is launching. Let's start with that new server. It's called Warcraft Reborn, and it's from the Ascension team, and it actually goes live tomorrow, on Friday, 3rd of October. And I'll be streaming it, by the way, so stay tuned for that. I'll be streaming it here on YouTube and on Twitch. My recommendation is to follow me on Instagram if you want to know exactly when I go live. So what if you could replay vanilla with fresh mechanics, improved systems, new content, more freedom, and deeper RPG-focused gameplay? Well, that's exactly what Warcraft Reborn is aiming to deliver. I want to start with the feature that I'm most excited about. You know how there's like tons of mobs in World of Warcraft with awesome looking armor sets or tabards? You know, sometimes like the Scarlet Crusade set, you could get those items, but usually the drop rates were painfully low, and by the time you finally got the gear, you had already, out-leveled it. Well, Reborn changes all of that. Now mobs will actually drop the gear they're wearing. It's going to make the It's going to make the game feel much closer to an RPG like Skyrim, where loot is contextually tied to the enemies you're fighting. On top of that, they've added new unique drops, more tabards to collect. Leveling, looting and progressing your character is about to get way more rewarding and fun and interesting. Oh, and a quick side note guys, if you're prepping for the launch of TBC Classic or want a leveling guide that's going to give you a huge edge on day one, you have to check out Restic Speeds, made by the world record holding speed levelers for the game, and they've already made the most optimal pre-quest route mapped out so you can get ahead of the Dark Portal Zerg by just chilling in Azeroth and getting quests completed. It's also a great way to support me and the channel, so I really do appreciate it. The link is in the description. Now back to Reborn. Mobs have also been reworked to be way more unique and contextual. For example, a mob with a dagger will have a faster attack speed than a mob with a two-hander, and a mob with a shield will block more often. Resistances and weaknesses to the elements are also more prominent, which rewards players for thinking strategically instead of just face rolling through fights and, other mobs being pretty standardized and basic and similar. Now if you're wondering about class design, since every Classic Plus server has taken its own approach, Turtle WoW added new abilities and slightly reworked the vanilla talent, Epoch launched with TBC talents, Ascension on the other hand is launching with a refined version of the Wrath of the Lich King talents plus a few extra abilities. That means meme specs will actually be viable, and you'll see iconic skills like Blaze Storm, Heroic Leap, Metamorphosis and Invisibility becoming part of people's builds. Unique to Ascension is their Mystic Enchantment system. It's kinda similar to Runes in Season of Discovery, but honestly it looks way better. And it expands class design even further. You have artifact enchants that give you utility upgrades, legendary enchants unlock key DPS cooldowns, and mastery enchants providing big passive boosts to your builds. Some of the abilities in Ascension are iconic ones borrowed from later expansions, while others are totally unique to this server. The level of customization here is insane. Single enchants can completely change your build and playstyle. And just looking at it, I've already said that actually early on in the script, haven't I? But anyway, you'll find enchantments scattered across the open world, hidden like, how the treasures were in Warlords of Draenor, or sometimes just dropping from mobs. And the drops are actually contextual as well, which is another thing I'm seriously impressed by. For example, a Fire Mage themed mob will drop an enchantment that buffs a mage's fireball, and so on and so forth. We're also getting brand new class and race combinations, which is obviously very prominent on these servers. We've got Troll Druids, Human Hunters, Dwarf Shamans, Night Elf Mages, Tauren Paladins, Blood Elf Warriors, Orc Mages, Troll Warlocks, Gnome Priests, Dwarf Mages, Undead Hunters, and even Undead Paladins like there was on Epoch WoW, which is probably what I'm going to be playing. And yes, you can actually roll as a Blood Elf or a Draenei on this server. Probably not very lore friendly. But anyway, for endgame, they've really gone all out. Every vanilla dungeon now has a heroic and mythic mode. Raids have ascended difficulties, including heroic and mythic. Plus there's raid trials and entirely new endgame dungeons and raids. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be Karazhan crypts. Raiding is also like flex mode, meaning you can run them with between 10 to 25 players. And on top of that, all the dungeons are also going to have Mythic Plus modes with the fixes, just like they do in Retail WoW, which is probably one of the best things about Retail WoW, to be honest. There are plenty of new world bosses, open world events, and dynamic content to keep the zones alive and populated. Now, let me finish off just rapid firing a few more features, because again, there is just so many. It's honestly crazy how far the private server scene has come and how streamlined these modern MMO features can get themselves into Classic WoW now. We've got professions totally revamped, especially crafting ones where you can craft gear. Crafting ones, obviously all bloody professions are crafting, but what I'm trying to say here is the ones where you craft gear, like blacksmithing and stuff like that, the gear isn't going to suck like it did in vanilla, let's be honest. Like, a lot of the time it wasn't even a green piece. And obviously, the reason why it's going to be better is because you have a chance to roll random extra stat affixes onto the gear pieces. You've got Warforged style gear that can be continuously upgraded. It's basically like heirlooms that you find in the open world. You've got Hero Kobolds, which are basically like daily world quests. They're actually adding Twin Peaks and Temple of Kot Mogu to the Battleground pool, which again is a bit weird. But anyway, they're adding arenas with totally new maps, revamped PvP loot systems, a prestige leveling mode where you can basically go to level 1 again and get new rewards, and also loads of hardcore leveling trials. Not just the hardcore mode, but other modes. There's even this like really silly one where like you can only breathe in water. Yeah, not sure what they were doing with that one. As you can see, this server doesn't just add content, it reinvents vanilla. It goes way beyond Season of Discovery by a country mile. Now, some of you may think it's going a bit too far, and that's probably fair, to be honest, but honestly, if you're treating a server as some pure vanilla experience, you're probably missing the point. Warcraft Reborn is meant to be a bit of fun. It's taken the core essence of vanilla WoW, mixing in some theme park, retail features, and then layering on the original Skyrim-inspired RPG systems that are going to make the world feel way more immersive. For me, that's the main draw. That's why I'm going to try out this server. Meanwhile, we also have Turtle WoW is, still standing tall despite the legal battles. Instead of folding like Nestarius, they just instead announced their next patch is going into development, the Nightmares of Ursul. They've released this huge big demo for the Unreal 5 vanilla remaster, and honestly, it's looking pretty good. On top of that, the Ambershire server has just pushed into phase 2 of Endgame with Molten Core, brand new world bosses, and rated arenas. It's painfully obvious now, guys, Classic Plus just isn't going anywhere. It's now at the forefront of the Classic WoW community. You look at any YouTube video right now about Classic WoW, people don't give a monkeys about Mop Classic, really. Everyone is talking about Classic Plus. The trailers for these private servers get more views than the trailers for actual Classic WoW. It's getting that, bonkers right now. This is probably one of the most exciting times to be a Classic World of Warcraft fan, to be honest. I'll be real with you guys, I haven't really properly touched WoW since the launch of Fresh Classic, and even then I only made it to level 36 on my warrior. Part of that is because I've been focusing on other hobbies like working on my car and making a slight career change. Again, check out my Instagram if you want updates and all of that. But mostly it's because, as much as I love Classic WoW, playing the same version of it over and over again just doesn't excite me anymore. A lot of us just, we want something new. And again, like, I went through a cycle of playing, vanilla, TBC and Wrath on private servers quite a lot before Classic even launched. So by now, the record's a bit, it needs to be changed. But this Classic Plus scene, it's different, and it's why it's pulled me back in, and I truly believe that if Blizzard did this themselves, millions of players would flock back to the game. But anyway, make sure to tune into my stream, guys. I'll be, like I said, I'll be live streaming the launch of the server. It's at 3 PM tomorrow UK time, which probably means 4 PM Central European time, and then, whatever 8 hours behind is for American time. And yeah, I'll be streaming it here on YouTube and on Twitch if you prefer to watch me on there. Everything's always in the description of all my videos. But anyway, guys, that's it for me now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. My name is Goblins. In the next video, ciao.